The Black Keys Dropout Boogie album review. Let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest album from the Black Keys. Pat Carney, Dan Auerbach, Akron, Ohio blues rockers who over the last few years have blown up, become huge stars, and in my opinion have gotten a little bit of a bad reputation. Yes, their more modern stuff has been a lot more hit and miss. That's without saying. But we forget that there was a time where the Black Keys were nothing short of these sweaty, rugged blues purists that were pumping out classic albums like The Big Come Up, Thick Freakness, Rubber Factory. These are genuinely great works, and if you're a fan of blues rock from any generation, they're albums you should listen to. The thing is, ever since, like many others, Dan and Pat and I, we have a very complicated relationship. Not always bad, just complicated. I've always felt like Magic Potion was a big drop-off for them. And you may find this shocking, but I've never been a big attack and release guy. It's okay. There's some great tracks late in the album, but most of that album was just okay. I thought I had fallen off entirely with the Black Keys, but you might find this even more shocking. I've always felt like Brothers is a little underrated. Yes, it's very polished. Yes, it's not exactly as true to form as their early work. But if you're going to sit there and tell me Everlasting Light, Tighten Up, Next Girl, and some of the other tracks on there are not some of the best tracks they've ever pumped out, you're lying to yourself, man. And their follow-up, El Camino, it's not terrible. There's some tracks I actually really like on there. But at the end of the day, I thought it was just a much less interesting version of Brothers. And oh my God, Turn Blue is the worst thing they've ever done. I can't sit through it. I tried a week ago. I still can't do it. So much so, I almost completely wrote off their last album, Let's Rock. But I'm glad that I didn't, because I think it has a lot going for it. No joke, it's good. I think Shine a Little Light and Go are some of the best tracks they've put out since Brothers, which leads me to these new singles. And leading up to it, I thought they were okay. Nothing crazy, but okay. And that's kind of where I'm at about this whole album. This album starts off with Wild Child, and I think it's actually probably one of the best tracks here, but this is also what makes modern Black Keys material so confusing. This track is soulful, it is muddy, it is catchy, and it's nothing too flashy either. It actually does sound like them kind of going back to their roots. It just sounds like for a few minutes that Pat and Dan are genuinely in their element. Between the grungy riff, the choir vocals that pop in for the chorus, this is very solid. It Ain't Over is just a very completely different side of the Black Keys, one that we also know very well, but very different. This one is a little bit more sinister in its own way. I love the way this track kind of slithers along. It's got these big, campy synths that I love as well, but I will say this, as far as the single goes, it took me a while to really warm up to this one. But it does the trick at the end of the day. They sound pretty good. Say what you will, I mean quality-wise about the whole album, but when the Black Keys are on and they're focused, they could still, put out some really great tracks. For the Love of Money has also grown on me quite a bit recently. I love the stripped-down, bluesy riff here and the soulful vocals. Once again, this kind of reminds me of where we started off with the Black Keys. There are moments that they come off so authentic still. I wish they could keep this up for a whole album. But for now, yeah, that's the real deal. I love Your Team Is Looking Good too. I love the big, bulky riff that we get here. The way that this track just creeps along and has this muddy production. I love it. Between all that and this guitar solo, that's actually probably one of the best ones here. It's shocking to me. It's not like the Black Keys don't have this sound left in them. Hell, the first half of this album is just really, really good. I like Good Love featuring Billy Gibbons and ZZ Top as well. It's sleazy, it's sexy, it's a little dark in a weird way. It reminds you of like what Queens of the Stone Age did on Lullabies to Paralyze, and not only because Billy Gibbons is here. It's surprisingly raw, but right now we're halfway through the album and I'm thinking to myself, where's the fluff? And then How Long comes along and yep, here it is, here's the fluff. Consistency remains the big problem here with the Black Keys. This track is so freaking boring. I don't know who told the Black Keys they needed this sunny, warm, rhythm-fueled blues track. But that's what we get, and it's so drawn out, it's not even funny, it is really bland. And trust me, it's far from a vibe. Burn the Damn Thing Down isn't exactly much better. I mean, if you heard this crunchy riff from a distance, you might think you were getting a decent Black Keys track here. but it's more the same with nothing remotely fresh, new, or exciting. And Dan, let's be honest here, you're not burning anything down in any town. If you show up to a town, the most exciting thing that's going to happen is a bunch of kids will walk over from Urban Outfitters and talk about how raw this album is. Baby, I'm Coming Home is not winning me over. I feel like the Black Keys have wrote this track 40 times. It's nothing new. It's business as usual, but I'm just not vibing on that right now. It doesn't move me in the slightest. And Didn't I Love You isn't winning me over as a finale either. I swear, I feel like the Black Keys had 5 really good tracks done for an album and just raced to get the rest of this thing out. There's no love and no care all of a sudden. It's sad because this album had some promise at first. It's not gritty, it's not soulful, it's barely even the blues at this point. It's just half-assed. I mean, in the later moments, Happiness does sort of win me over a little bit, but it just kind of saves this album from being a complete dumpster fire. Like, I actually love how big and bulky this track is. It's got some teeth to it. I mean, it's nothing mind-boggling. I'm not gonna, write to my friends about it, but it's a solid track. This album's a mess. I mean, for half of it, the Black Keys really do find their roots. You go back to a style that's worked for them for years, and just remember what made them so cool to begin with, and the results are pretty grimy at points. They got some real teeth to them. Production's great. The playing's fine. They seem to be like, in their element. And then the rest of this album comes along and just really falls apart really fast and gets bland, boring, half-assed, and just painful. Just painful. It's tough being a Black Keys fan. It's tough because I want to enjoy this album, but then there's too many wrongs here. I'm feeling a light 6 on this album, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.